Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses. Now, quite a while ago I did a video on all the cars I've had, so I thought what I should do is a video on all the bikes I've had. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. So the first bike I had was back in 1990 when I was 16, and that was a 1987 Yamaha FS 1E. And here it is in red, an absolutely fantastic bike. Now when I see them I think they're actually quite small, but back then obviously I was a small 16-year-old and that little 50cc was fantastic. However, I did ruin it, and that is because I decided I'd try and make it quicker. So my 35-mile-an-hour machine ended up doing 18 miles an hour because I took the exhaust off and somehow messed it up. Yeah, now I took the exhaust off because I was told that there were two restrictors in it. No idea what I was doing, so I took the exhaust off and took off a ring I thought was going to be it. I then started the bike without the exhaust on it just to hear what it sounds like inside a garage with no exhaust, as you do. Put it all back together again, took it down the road, and it wouldn't go over 18 miles an hour. So I did something to it. And then it was quite a while before I bought a bike again. When I was turned 17, I bought a car, Ford Capri, my first car. In fact, I even bought it when I was 16, ready for when I passed my test when I was 17. So it was 9 years until I bought another bike. And that was this. It was in 1999, and it was a brand new 1999 Honda VT125 Shadow. Fantastic little V-twin Honda. Loved that bike, 15 horsepower, and it was brilliant. Did 75 miles an hour. Lovely bike. And I kept that for a couple of years, got rid of that. Obviously still had lots of cars in the meantime. And then in 2002, when it first came out, I bought the 2002 Honda Varadero, also brand new. 125. Again, another bike that used exactly the same V-twin engine as the Shadow, still did 75 mile an hour, and it was huge for a 125. Fantastic bike, absolutely loved that. Now obviously because I was into modifying everything, and at the time I ran a garage and I was manager of or branch manager of a chain of tyre and exhaust fitting places. What we did was to try and make it different, so we managed to get an Austin Metro centre box, which is exactly the same size but a bigger bore than the back box on the Honda. Took the cover off, replaced it with that, sprayed it black, put the cover back on. Never knew the difference, but it sounded immense and went a little bit quicker. So yeah, there we go. That was that, my Honda Varadero 125. Now after that I wanted to pass my test, but I didn't. But I still bought a bike in preparation, like I've always done. Bought the bike before I could even ride it. Didn't ride it illegally, just wanted it ready for when I passed my test. Bought the car when I was 16, ready for when I passed my test. And I bought this because I was planning on doing my test. Never got around to doing it until 2019, but it didn't stop me buying the bike, and I bought this in 2006. It was a 1996 Suzuki Bandit 600S. Absolute gem of a bike, purred beautifully, rode great, looked fantastic, and that helmet that you see in that picture I've still actually got. I wouldn't wear it now, but I've still got it. I then moved on to this. In 2007 I bought a 1-year-old 2006 Hyosung GTR 125. That was the carburetor version because they never actually went to a fuel injection version on this for some reason. No idea why. Never actually got around to doing it. And it was a bag of nails. It kept under fueling. It kept over fueling, one of the two, I can't remember which. It just kept dying randomly. Whenever it felt like it just died. Horrible, stupid bike. Shame, because it was huge. They used the same frame as they did, I believe, on the 250 and the 600. Massive bike, looked huge, rode great until it broke down. And then in 2008 I bought this. Yes, a 1999 Honda VTR Firestorm 1000. Again, fantastic bike, absolutely brilliant. Couldn't ride it because I hadn't passed my test, but it was there. Started every now and then and rode up and down the driveway because I had a long driveway, and that was about it. But yeah, this was lovely. I bought it because it was going cheap off a friend, of a friend of a friend, and yeah, never actually got around to riding it properly on the road. Then things happened in my life, and I moved to the Channel Islands in Jersey. Then I lived in France, and then I moved to China. And I bought this. It was 3 years after the hire sung at this point. It was in 2011, and it was a brand new, believe it or not, Jinliang 125. Now this was based on a Honda, and I believe it had the Honda-derived engine in it. It did 70 miles an hour, no problem at all. It looked like it was about 20 years old when I got it, but it was brand new. And yeah, where I lived in Inner Mongolia at the time, the city was surrounded by mountains, and you'd literally take the motorway to the end of the city, and then it would just be dirt road, mountains. And this photo here is where you can see me just halfway up one of the mountains. Absolutely great. Great bit of fun, and yeah, that sort of tided me over. I then moved out to South China, and I bought this. Now this was in 2012, and it was a 2012 Vespa e-bike. It wasn't actually a Vespa, but it had a Vespa badge on the front. Now this was an e-bike that was designed like a Vespa, but it did 55 kilometers an hour, and the battery lasted for about 400 miles. I used to charge it once a week, and it was fantastic. And that was 55 kilometers an hour, 2 up. It was a brilliant, brilliant bike. And do you know how much it was? Brand new? £290. Brand new. Never went wrong. Rode it for about a year, year and a half. Absolutely phenomenal. Sold it on afterwards, and it was brilliant. Loved that. I didn't have another bike until I came back to the UK, and a couple of years after that, I bought this in 2017, a brand new 2017 FB Mondial 125. At this point, I was on L plates still in the UK, and it was brilliant. Great little bike. Rode fantastic. Decided to change it a couple of times, and then did this with it and turned it into a Golf replica. Bigger tyres on it, and it was great. I've still got it, and it's a lovely looking bike. I don't think I'll ever ride it again, but I might even sell it at one point. I don't know. We'll see. So then in 2018 I bought this, the 1978 Honda 404. Been off the road for 22 years, and the engine didn't start, and this was the project bike that Malcolm and I built. And this one is now like this. And yes, I still have it, and I will always have this bike. I then went, when I passed my test in January 2019, whilst it was snowing, I might add, I bought this in 2019, a 2005 Kawasaki Z1000. So I went from 125 to a Kawasaki Z1000. Great bike, lovely. Actually moved it on to Jason a couple of years later, but lovely bike, great fun, nice and quick, lovely to ride. Also in 2019 I bought this, my 2004 Triumph Speed 99955i. It was in green with a massive exhaust on it, and someone had put the tank cover on it because the tank was awful underneath. So had it resprayed, and now it's burnt orange. Still have that, although it's one I am planning on selling quite soon. Also 2019 I bought brand new because there was only 5 ever going to be in the UK, and it was this, the 2019 MASH Force 400 army bike. Started off like this, and then Malcolm and I made a couple of brackets, and I added some stuff to it, and now it looks like this. Still got that bike, and I'm going to keep it. In 2019 also came the 2019 Thunor project. Now this was the bike that was electric that I was planning on developing and selling ourselves. Never actually took off because COVID hit, and everything was just getting ridiculously expensive to come out of China, so that sort of fell by the wayside, and a project that was never going to be seen again. The bike still exists and I still have it, but the battery's probably flat now, and yeah, nothing's really going to come of that. Shame, really. Then in 2020 I bought this, the 1994 Honda 650 NTV. It was red and had some weird car exhaust stuck on it. never done that in myself. Anyway, I bought it because I wanted to do a Mad Max project, and originally I was looking at like a 600 Hornet, something like that, but then I came across this and I thought, yeah, V-twin, perfect opportunity to turn this into a Mad Max bike. So I did, and this is what it looks like now. And you've seen this in the Potato Wars and all sorts. Again, for the videos for that, the parody videos, I'll put a link in the description below. Pop along, have a look, worth a laugh. Then, also in 2020, I bought this, the 1997 Honda VTR Firestorm 1000. And then about 2 days later, I bought this one, another Honda VTR Firestorm 1000, but this one was a 1998, but it was a better bike. So, sold the 1997 on, kept the 1998 on, because it was a better bike. Swapped bits over, so I had a massively decent bike out of the two, and then moved on the other one. Put some Red Bull livery graphics on it, and I still have that bike, another one that is going to be for sale quite soon. Then also in 2020 I bought this, a 2020 CF Moto 650 NK TT. Now they don't make that anymore, and yeah, that was a great bike. Really rode well, lovely bike to ride, great fun, just a bit underpowered because obviously I had quite a few 1000cc bikes at the time, so it was a bit underpowered, so I moved that on. And then I bought, also in 2020, a 2013 Triumph Tiger 1200 Explorer. That was a gem of a bike. I absolutely loved that. And I regret selling it. I only sold it because I had like 13, 14 bikes at the time, and it was taking up too much space. And I thought, I bought it to do lots of journeys abroad. And this, again, was in the middle of all COVID, and I never really got to do it. So I thought, just going to get rid of it, move it on. So I did. Sad sale that, because I loved that bike. I then, in 2020, bought this, the 1999 Yamaha R6 EB5 track bike. Still have that. Again, another bike that's going to be for sale very soon. That one needs to go, because I just don't use it. But did a few track days with that, and it was brilliant. 145 on the back straight of Snetterton, not a problem. Great, nippy, fun, fast, flickable, easy to ride bike. Love it. Great bike days. Then in 2021, I had this, the 2021 Benelli Leoncino 500. Now I bought this because it was going to be an easy commuter bike to and fro. But however good it rode nicely, but it didn't knock my socks off. It was just a bit dull. So I thought, no, it's got to go. So I traded that in, and I bought this, the 2015 MV Agusta 800 Bucciali Dragster RR. Fantastic bike. Quick, modern, loud. Obviously because I changed the exhaust, put an HP coarse exhaust on it, but it was epic. Loved that bike. Too fast for me, really, because the bike was much better than I could ride it. It deserved someone better to ride it quicker. And I put it in sport mode, but I never put it in race mode. And it was just a phenomenal bike. Loved that. But it had to go because I actually made money on that when I sold it. I bought it in 2021, sold it I think in 2023, and yeah, never lost any money on it. Absolutely brilliant bike. Loved it. The only thing I didn't like was the headlight on it. Other than that, brilliant bike. Then in 2021, I also bought this. Basically, it was offered to me for next to nothing money, and I thought, I've got to have it. Simply because it's an Enfield, not a Royal Enfield. So it is an Indian import, a 2001 Enfield Bullet 500. Started off as a normal Bullet 500, and I added on the rear seat and the rear seat bracket, made that, welded that, put that on, and a couple of racks for the side bags, and I think it came out really well. So yeah, still got that. Don't think I'll ever get rid of that because it's quite unique, and I like unique bikes. So yeah, there's that one. Then came this, also in 2021, the 2003 Honda Hornet 900F. Lovely bike, great condition. The only problem with that is that the speedo doesn't work. So I just bought a GPS electronic one and stuck it over the speedo. But yeah, that is also going to be for sale quite soon. But yeah, lovely bike that is. And then finally in 2022, I bought this one, the 1991 Kawasaki ZXR 400. Now this is a bike that has already been resprayed yellow and black. The guy came in, had it MOT'd, and it failed the MOT. Then he came to the office to pay, and he said, whilst he came in, he said, "Are you interested in buying it?" And I hadn't even thought about it at the time. I always liked them. In fact, that was the bike that got me into bikes when it first came out in 1990/91. Might have been just 1990. I was working in Norwich at the time for British Rail, and I used to see one quite often coming out the traffic lights as I was walking to the railway station to go home. And I came out the traffic lights and just the Hoover pipes on it, and the one I saw was in the green, blue and white. And I just thought, that is a beautiful bike. The Hoover pipes, just the sound of it sounds lovely, nice and racy as he pulled away from the lights. Oh, yes, yes. And for a 1991 bike that had 62 horsepower for a 400, oh, yes. So when he said to me, "Do you want to buy it?" we undernard, came to a deal, and I went, "Yeah, I'll have it." And then obviously the yellow and black wasn't original, didn't like that. So I always wanted it in like a Red Bull livery, but in the purple and orange that Honda did in their race bike. So that's what I did, and I love it. Still use that, love that bike. In fact, that's the one I use the most, and I'm never selling that, ever. So next on the list, there will be a couple more arriving. There are 4 going: the Honda Firestorm, the 900 Hornet, the Triumph Speed Triple, and the track bike. They are going to go, and what's going to be arriving is in the green 249 colours, the Royal Enfield 650 Bear, and the 2024 Yamaha XSR 900 GP in the Marlboro, not Marlboro colours. And that'll probably be for a while. I don't think I'll have any more for a while. That will take me from 11 bikes down to 9 bikes, and I may even get some more gone afterwards. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, there we go. There's all the bikes I've had since 1990. There's been some gaps, but obviously I've been around a bit. So yeah, there you go. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Click the notification bell for more uploads. Have a look in the description for playlists and other stuff to look at also. And I'll see you next time. So until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye.